All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Another winning day. So, good day, another 15 games late. But before we get into that, just a reminder subscribe to the channel, it's free. All right, before we jump into the recap, let's talk about the standings here. So, we've got a couple important games. So, obviously, we got the Padres and the Dodgers. Padres pulled it off last night. They're within 2 of the West. So, could technically get it back to even here. So it could be an interesting race. Really, the more important race is in the wild card in the AL. So we've got the Tigers, the Royals, and the Twins all battling it out. The Tigers and the Royals are tied in the wild card race, and the Twins are 2 games back. We've also got the Mariners 2.5 games back, so there is an outside chance for them there. Orioles locked up their spot, so they are guaranteed a wild card spot. Really nothing left to play for. Yankees wrapped up the AL East, so those two teams really are just kind of chilling. They're already set and locked in place. If we look at the NL, so we've got a pretty good race going in the NL. We've got the Mets a half game up in the wild card. We've got the Braves a half game back. They play again today, so it could get interesting. We've got the Diamondbacks who are just kind of reeling a little bit. Lost 3 games in a row, and they are sitting in that last wild card spot here. So the Braves are chasing them. Mets should be an interesting couple of games coming down the stretch here. All right, let's get into our recap. Good day. We did real good. So Reds first 5 over 1.5. They ended up changing pitchers, so canceled that one. Not going to play around with Carson Spears. He was a horrendous pitcher, so that got voided. Giants first 5 over 1.5. Easiest cash of all time. They absolutely destroyed Brandon Pfaadt, which was one of our prop leans as well. Over 2.5 earned runs at plus 100. Thank you. Toronto first 5, and it was 3-0, I believe, after the first 5. They ended up losing the full game, but we don't care about that. Baltimore, New York under 8.5. That got a little bit sweaty. It finished at 8, but ended up cashing that. Our one loss, San Diego Padres and the Dodgers over 8. That kind of stinks. And then we hit one of our 3-team parlays with the Tigers, the Brewers, and the Braves at plus 344. So good day for sure. All right, let's get into the slate here. So the first game on the card, Mariners, Astros. Astros locked up their spot, so they have nothing left to play for. This is a meaningless game for them. We know that the Mariners 2.5 games back of the wild card. They're still playing for something, but the Astros, I'm sure it was quite a celebration last night, and they've got to turn around and play an early game today. So highly likely we will see some starters not playing today. Kirby going up against Kikuchi. We see this in the line with the Astros plus 114. We look at these two pitchers, really good track record against the other team. If we look at Kirby, he is 1-0 with a 1.56 career ERA versus Houston in 6 games, 3 home, 3 away. He's pitched against them 3 times this year already, 2 home, 1 away. So 18 innings in total, 14 hits, 3 earned runs, 17 Ks. So had some success, but he has given up hits, so something to keep in mind there. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 3 games. Gave up 2 against Texas in his last start. Gave up 5 against the Padres. Given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 away games. If we look at Yusei Kikuchi, he is 1-0 with a 0.52 career ERA versus the Mariners. He's pitched against them 3 times since 2022, so about a little over 17 innings. They've only gotten 9 hits and 1 earned run off of him. If we look at recent trends, he's been pitching okay. 8 earned runs in his last 3 games. 6 earned runs in his last 3 home games. Gave up 1 to the Angels, 4 to the D-backs, 1 to the Royals. So pitching okay. Like I said, I would lean Mariners just simply because, well, they're going to be hungover probably, and they got to turn around and play an early game. Pitch splits for Kikuchi don't look great over the last 30 days. Mariners are first in hitting the fastball, 5th in hitting the slider, 2nd in hitting the curveball, which is 3 of Kikuchi's main pitches. So I'll take the Mariners in this spot. All right, next game, Phillies and the Cubs. So Javier Assad going up against Christopher Sanchez. Sanchez away and Sanchez at home are Jekyll and Hyde. Sanchez at home, about a 2 home ERA, away about a 5. Same with Javier Assad. He is much better at home than he is away. He's got a 2-something home ERA, a little over a 4 away ERA. That said, he's got 8 innings pitched versus the Phillies since 2022. He hasn't pitched against them this year. 1 game in 22, 1 game in 23. No earned runs and 7 hits. So maybe a path towards like a Cubs first 5. I don't know. If we look at Assad, 8 earned runs in his last 3 games, but 10 earned runs in his last 3 away games. One of those starts does include Coors Field, but he gave up runs against Washington and Miami, so I don't trust him. If we look at Christopher Sanchez, he's given up 3 earned runs in his last 3 games. 3 earned runs in his last 3 home games. So I expect him to pitch well today. We saw the Cubs really trounce the Phillies yesterday. It was Taijuan Walker day. I was on Cubs first 5. It was beautiful. Taijuan Walker is just the gift that keeps on giving. I hope he stays in the majors so I can continue to bet against him because it's amazing. But he's already through, I should say. So we don't have to worry about him. I like the Phillies to bounce back and kind of put a thumping on the Cubbies here. So give me the Phillies in this game. Next game, Reds and the Guardians. Little crappy yesterday. Actually, the pitcher's wrong. I just noticed that. It should actually be Jacob Junis. So that's who's listed today. I'm not holding my breath. He didn't pitch yesterday. I don't know why. We ended up getting Carson Spears, who is just absolute dog shit. Guardians got 3 off of him in the first inning. Going up against Joey Cantillo for the Guardians. Meaningless game for the Guardians. They are locked in. Yesterday's win guaranteed a first-round bye and home field advantage. So they are playing for nothing today. I would lean Guardians. The Reds suck against lefties. They can't hit them. 194 over the last 2 weeks, 191 over the last 7 days. Cantillo's trending in a really good direction. He's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 4 games. Last 2 of his games were home starts. So he's got a 2.40 home ERA. The only thing working against him would maybe be the curveball. Reds hit the curveball okay, but yeah, I don't like the spot for the Reds. Junis over the last 30 days, 182 to righties, 167 to lefties. He's actually had a really high K rate, but Junis has been solid. He hasn't given up a lot of runs. That said, his pitch splits aren't amazing. Guardians top 5 in hitting the fastball and the cutter. So lean Guardians. Don't really want to touch this game whatsoever, except for the under. I love the under because I don't think the Guardians are going to play a bunch of guys, so I don't think we'll see a ton of runs from them, and I don't think the Reds are capable of scoring a bunch of runs. So that's where I'm at in that. All right, next game, Brewers Pirates. Freddie Peralta going up against Luis Ortiz. This one's kind of an interesting one. I can see a path to the Pirates here today. Maybe. I'm not a huge Luis Ortiz fan, though. That's just my problem. If we look at Ortiz, he's got about a 4 home ERA. Peralta's faced this Pittsburgh Pirates team 7 times since 2022. Most of them have been away, so 5 of the 7 have been away. That said, he's not had a lot of success. He's got a 4.67 ERA, so that doesn't bode well. But he's been pitching really well as of late. If we look at his last 3, he's given up 5 earned runs. He gave up 1 to the Phillies, 1 at Arizona, and 3 against Colorado. So pitching pretty well. If we look at Ortiz, he's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 games, gave up 2 at St. Louis, 4 to Kansas City, who has an anemic offense, and then 3 to the Nationals. Ortiz has faced the Brewers 4 times since 2023. 15.1 innings, 13 hits, 5 earned runs. So about a 3 ERA. I just don't love him. I am not an Ortiz fan. I could see them hitting some balls out of the park today. We do have a slight breeze blowing in, but nothing major. I like the over in this game. The over is hit in 16 of Pittsburgh's last 23 games. So their bullpen is absolute trash, one of the worst in baseball, 6.4 ERA over the last 30 days. Brewers bullpen's been really solid, 2.40, third best in baseball, first in FIP, so they've been pitching really, really well. I will take the Brewers here for sure. All right, next game. It is going to be the Rays and the Tigers. So this should be an interesting game. Keter Montero, Zach Littell. Tigers are an absolute tear. They've won 3 straight, 8-2 in their last 10. Rays aren't doing terrible. They've lost the last one, obviously, but 6-4 in their last 10. Keter Montero makes me nervous. He is very up and down. That said, his last start at Baltimore, he got rocked. 5 earned runs, and then the previous 2 starts to that, 0. This guy seems like he either gives up 5 or 0. It only goes like one way or the other. If we look at the Tigers, though, they're 7-2 in their last 9 home games. Really hard not to pick them here. Zach Littell is Jekyll and Hyde when it comes to home and away. He's got a 2.90 home ERA. Take him outside of Tropicana, though, he's 4.5. So I will take the Tigers here. I kind of like maybe a Rays first 5, but yeah, I don't want to touch a team that's hot, that's in the hunt. The Rays aren't playing for anything. If we look at Littell, he faced this Detroit team in Tropicana in April, and they smacked him all around. 9 hits, 5 earned runs. So give me the Tigers in this one at -118. Maybe could look at the over. I could see that hitting for sure. I think there's going to be some runs, especially with the wind blowing out. So rather, as opposed to maybe picking a team, just go with the over. All right. Next game on the card here is going to be Royals and the Nats. Michael Lorenzen, DJ Hers. Michael Lorenzen making his first start in a month. That said, prior to going on the injury list, he was pitching really well. He'd only given up 1 earned run in his 3 starts previous to that. If we look at Lorenzen, he's got a little under a 4 away ERA. Hers about the same, but home. Hers is a much better pitcher at home than he is away. He's got a 3.78 home ERA as opposed to a 5.17 away ERA. If we look at Lorenzen, not had a lot of success against this Nats team. He's 1-2 with a 6 ERA versus this Nationals team in 3 games pitched since 2022. So he's first started in a month. Not great track record against the Nats. We saw the game yesterday was absolutely disgusting. It ended up being 1-0 in the 10th inning. Just bad baseball there. If we look at Kansas City, they are struggling. They're struggling to hit anybody, but really lefties in particular, they are really struggling. They've only had 4 earned runs versus the last 6 left-handed starters. So obviously Parker yesterday, they didn't get anything off of him. Blake Snell, they didn't score off of him. Skubal, they got 1 run. Carlos Rodon, they got 2. Kikuchi, they got 1. Valdez, they got 0. You got to go all the way back to August 26th to find where they were actually able to hit somebody, and it was Logan Allen for Cleveland, who is not even in the majors anymore because everybody hits him. So really just bad against lefties. If we look at Hers, he's given up 7 earned runs in his last start against the Mets, so coming off a pretty bad outing there. But prior to that, he had only given up 1 earned run against the Marlins and the Pirates. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 3 home games against the Marlins, the Cubs, and the Rockies. Give me the Nats in this one. I do not trust the Royals right now. They are 4-8 in their last 12 away games. So we've got a pretty sustained track record of them being pretty bad. 3-7 their last 10. It's just not good. They are crumbling down the stretch. They are hitting 141 over the past week against lefties, 147 over the past 2 weeks. Struggling to hit with runners in scoring position. So everything is just, I can't back this team given their offensive prowess at the moment. All right, next game on the card is going to be Orioles and the Yankees. We saw the Orioles hit some home runs yesterday. They hit like 3 or 4. Just kind of not great from the Yankees. Not a good look. All right, today we've got Eflin going against Cortez. Both teams are locked into their spots and not a ton to play for. If we look at Eflin, he's got a 2.66 home ERA, but you get him away, and that ERA jumps to 4.16 when he is outside his home park. Nestor Cortez is much better at home. He's got a 3.11 home ERA as opposed to a 4.46 away ERA. So kind of a tale of 2 pitchers here. If we look at Eflin, 6 games he's pitched against the Yankees since 2022. Got a 2.75 ERA. 4 of those starts were at Yankee Stadium. 2 were home. He is 2-1 overall with a 3.31 ERA. Did pitch against this team in July, and it didn't go well. 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs at home. If we look at Eflin, 6 earned runs in his last 3 games, 2 earned runs in his last 3 away games. So he is pitching pretty well away over the last 3. We look at Nestor Cortez. He has pitched very well against Baltimore. He's got a 1.86 ERA versus Baltimore in Yankee Stadium. So we've got some history there over 3 games that shows he should pitch okay. Recently, his form's been pretty good. He's only given up 1 earned run in his last 3 games against the Mariners, at Seattle, versus Boston at home, and at Chicago. Last 3 home games, given up 6 earned runs, and that was 5 of those came against the Cardinals. So I like where he's at right now. If we look over his last 3 or 4 starts since the whole move to the bullpen fiasco, he's been lights out. So give me the Yankees in this one. All right, next game, Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Richard Fitz going up against Kevin Gausman. Fitz has not given up an earned run. He's pitched 3 games, and he's been very good. He pitched against the Twins at home at Yankee Stadium and against the White Sox. Basically, this guy's going to give you 5 innings. He doesn't strike out a lot. He's only averaging 2.33 strikeouts a game, so not a ton there. Going up against Kevin Gausman with a 5.26 home ERA. I'm really confused how the Blue Jays are favored here. Gausman at home is not great. Gausman last faced Boston on June 19th and didn't go well. 5.2 innings, 6 hits, 4 earned runs. Given up 5 in his last 3, 6 in his last 3 home starts. A back Fitz here. If we look at Toronto, they're 11-5 in their last 16 games as favorites. If you want to take Boston on the run line, they're 9-3 on the run line last 12. So there's an avenue to take them there for sure. All right. Why I keep getting emails. Mets and the Braves. David Peterson going up against Chris Sale. Ooh, we were on the Braves yesterday, and that was absolute shellacking. They got beat down early and often. Severino got hit hard. Ton of people were on the Mets yesterday. Yeah, hard to not back Sale here. This is your NL Cy Young. Peterson, we said some regression was coming, and we've seen it. A little bit of regression. Technically, his expected ERA is 4.75. So I think the Braves get to him. They are crushing left-handed pitching. They are hitting 392 over the last 2 weeks versus left-handers, 452 over the past week. So they are just really seeing lefties well. If we look at Peterson, doesn't have amazing splits against lefties and righties, giving up a 229 to lefties, 253 to righties over the last 30 days. Sale is vulnerable to righties, 253 to righties, 158 to lefties. So I think there'll be hits. I think there'll be runs. I would maybe lean towards the over, to be honest, but I'll take the Braves in this spot. If we look at Peterson, he did pitch against the Braves at home in July. Didn't go so well. Gave up 4 earned runs in 5 innings. He's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 games. Gave up 4 to the Phillies, then 1 to the Phillies, and then 4 to Toronto. If we look at Sale, he pitched against this Mets team on July 25th in New York. He did what Sale does. 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs. He's given up 3 earned runs in his last 3, 1 earned run in his last 3 home games, and that was against the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, and the Rockies. We talk about this every Sale start. He's given up 2 or less earned runs in his last 18 games. It just keeps growing. So can't see the Mets winning this one. I would look at like maybe a Braves first 5, minus a half, something like that if you want to back just Sale versus Peterson. But clear spot to take the Braves here. I see literally just cannot find an angle to take the Mets in this one. All right, next game. It is going to be the lovely Angels against the White Sox. I actually have a play in this one. We'll talk about it. But Jose Suarez struggles a little bit away, but he just had some games early that really blew his ERA up. He's got a 6.80 ERA, but much better than what that is. He's pitched really well as of late. No earned runs in his last 3 games. If we look at Davis Martin, he's kind of gone the other way. He's given up 9 earned runs in his last 3 games. He's given up 3 or more earned runs in 4 of his 10 starts. This White Sox offense struggles against lefties. So give me the Angels in this one. I think Suarez should find some success today. All right, next game, Marlins and the Twins. Stupid Twins. God, the Twins suck. Oh, made me so mad. Fish scored 4 runs in the 4th, I believe, and that was it for the entire game. And then the Twins scored 1 run, whole game. They just left so many runners on base. Both teams did, really. Just an ugly game, man. Twins just, I don't know what is going on with them, but no way I can pay minus 192 after what I saw yesterday. I don't trust SWR. Cabrera is one of those guys. He's going to pitch great or he's going to pitch terrible. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 3 games. All 7 were against the Dodgers. So he went 0-0-7. That's kind of how he does it. He's either going to give up 5 runs or 0 or 1. And the way this Twins offense right now, it's just bad. They are one of the worst offenses in baseball. Them and the Twins, it's pretty ugly. And like I said, I don't trust SWR. Give me the Marlins plus 160. All right, next game here, Cardinals and the Rockies. I don't really love touching Coors games. I would say Cardinals in the spot. Fetty, not great away. He's got a 4.5 away ERA as opposed to a sub 2 at home. But Gomber's got like a 5 home ERA. Fetty does have 3 starts at Coors, so he is familiar with pitching in that park. His recent splits have been all right. 5 earned in his last 3 games, 8 in his last 3 away games. Little skewed. He pitched against the Yankees, didn't pitch great. Toronto, he gave up 3. If we look at Gomber, doesn't have a lot of success against the Cardinals. He's got a 6.55 career ERA versus St. Louis in 5 games. Pitched against them earlier this year, and they rocked him. So give me the Cardinals in this one. Gomber, 10 earned runs in his last 3 home games. Gave up 5 to the Diamondbacks, 2 to the Cubs, 3 to the Orioles. Yeah, I just don't want to touch this game. But if I had to, that's what side I would be on. We're going to stay away from Coors. All right, next game, Giants and D-backs. Giants are just hammering the D-backs. And they've won 5 in a row, 7-3 in their last 10. Zach Gallen going up against Mason Black. There's so much value to take the Giants here, but I got to go Diamondbacks. It's a system play for me. Team gets beat by double digits. I will take them the next game every single time. So give me Zach Gallen. I'll trust him. Mason Black has pitched okay lately. Still got almost a 7 away ERA in 4 games. 4 games since he's been recalled. He's pitched pretty good. 8 earned runs. That's including a 0 earned run last game at Kansas City. If we look at Gallen, he is 5-5 with a 4 ERA versus the Giants. At home, it goes down a little bit, 3.90. He's given up 7 earned runs in his last 3 games. Gave up 4 to the Brewers, and then 3 to the Brewers, and then 0 to the Rangers. 8 earned runs in his last 3 home games. And he kind of faced the Brewers, gave up 3. Rangers was 0, Dodgers 5. So I will back the D-backs here. I just cannot see them losing another one, especially with Mason Black on the other side. All right, Rangers and the Athletics. Cody Bradford going up against Brady Basso. The A's ended up winning on a walk-off last night, so it was a pretty good finish there. If we look at Bradford, he has faced this team twice already this year. August 31st, 7 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. April 10th, 6 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs. So there is some success here, but Rangers are not hitting lefties. 206 in the last 14, 125 in the last 7. Really struggling. If we look at Basso, 3 earned runs in his last game at Chicago, but no earned runs the previous 2. Hasn't given up an earned run at home this year. If we look at Cody Bradford, he's got an 8.10 away ERA in 4 games. So really hard to back the Rangers in this spot, in my opinion. We've got 2 really bad bullpens rocking 5+ ERAs. We've got the wind blowing out, and we've got an over/under of 7.5. It's really weird. It just goes to show you how bad offensively the teams are. But I will take the A's in this spot. All right, last game on the card. It is the Dodgers and the Padres. Dodgers lost last night, and they had a triple play to finish the game. Padres got a triple play, which was pretty cool. We've got Dylan Cease going up against Jack Flaherty. Flaherty, 3.29 home ERA. Dylan Cease, a little under a 4 away ERA. Cease has had a really good track record against the Dodgers, 1.72 career ERA. He's faced them 3 times, most recently in July 31st, went 5.2 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run. So pretty good. Cease has been really solid over his last 3. He's only given up 4 earned runs. 0 in his last 2 games versus Houston and at San Fran. But then when he faced San Francisco at home, he gave up 4. Cease is just not someone I can trust. He's an all or nothing. And I feel like the Dodgers are going to rock him. That's just my feeling. If we look at Flaherty, he hasn't been super solid either. He's given up 10 earned runs his last 2 games versus the Padres. You got to go back to August of 2023. Gave up 7 earned runs. Go back to September of 2022. He gave up 3 earned runs. He's been pitching really well at home, though. He's only given up 4 earned runs in his last 3 home games. Blanked the Guardians, gave up 3 to the Orioles, and Mariners got 1 off of him. This is a tough game. I want to play it, but I don't want to. I would lean Dodgers. Give me the Dodgers in this one. Bounce back spot. I don't know. This could go literally either way. Padres at plus money, you could take them. I don't know. It's such a weird game. Maybe Padres team total over would be pretty good. I don't know. All right, pitching report. If you guys want to screenshot that, that could help you in some bets in the future. Who knows? All right, park factors. If you want to see that, Coors Field run should be banging out. Nationals Park. If you had teams that could hit, well, they would probably score some runs. All right, rankings, best bets. Best bets for today: Cincinnati, Cleveland under 8 at -115. Again, just the Reds can't hit lefties, and I don't think Cleveland's going to be throwing their full lineup out there today. Now that everything's locked in stone. Give me Brewers first 5 -1/2. I know Peralta hasn't had a great track record, but I don't trust Luis Ortiz, and Peralta's been pitching well as of late. This will be his last start before the playoffs begin, so I think he will bring a little something here. And then Phillies race to 4 plus money. Sanchez at home. I trust him. Assad away, not great. Yeah, I'll take this bet. And then Arizona, San Fran over 8. Line's 8.5, so I dropped it down to 8. I know taking a little bit of juice, but feels like a fairly safe line to me. So we'll take the over 8. And then Angels first 5. Kind of a, if you're going to get rid of one today, maybe that's the one. Betting the Angels, White Sox, probably not great, but I like the spot here for them. Parlays for today, give me Seattle, Houston, Atlanta, and the Mets, both to have nerfies. Pair those two together, plus 182. Give me Arizona, Atlanta money line at plus 122. And then give me Philly, Milwaukee, and the Yankees, all money line at plus 319. Fun parlay, Arizona, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Yankees, Phillies, plus 832. Upset parlay today, Nats, A's, and Padres at plus 747. Prop leans, you can see on the screen, I like Chris Sale to go over his Ks. Eflin over 2.5 earned runs. Chris Sale over 4.5 hits. Christopher Sanchez under 5.5 hits. Shohei Ohtani over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, and Eugenio Suarez over 1.5 hits and RBIs. And then we've got 2 nerfies, which are obviously in our parlay. So that is going to do it for today. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, give the video a thumbs up. Comment down below if you've got a favorite play that I didn't talk about today, and I'll catch you next video.